Hey there, it's Coach Tim, Spider Cave Studios, and I am going to show you how I changed the name of a football stadium. Stay tuned. Hey there, and here is the original Murdock Stadium. It's the one I played in. It's a very intimate stadium. It's close to the field. There's no track separating the field to the stadium itself. This you may recognize that end zone on the other side that's open. It's trees, but it's sort of an open environment. The stadium was a horseshoe. And on this side that we're looking out from below, above me would be the old scoreboard, and below me is the tunnel that we would run out on. And so uh, the tunnel leads on the other side behind our view right now to the old locker room. And the old locker room, actually, it's been on television. Steve Martin had his football coach show that he was in that movie, and he actually had a scene where he was in the what was the equipment room back in the day, but he used it as a coach's office. What you're looking at is this end zone, and on the other side is famous for Adam Sandler running down to the end zone below the giant CGI created giant screen. I think it had a giant screen on it as well as a scoreboard filling up that end zone. And Adam Sandler ran down there to get the ball. The guard was going to shoot him and then decided last second not to as Adam ran back to his captors. So this is the old stadium. It was called Murdock Stadium. And then this is the new stadium. And as you can tell, it's a very, very modern looking stadium. It's beautiful, not quite the same as the old days, right? And so, but this thing is called, was called Murdoch also. And appropriately so, they decided on a day where they would induct several people from the 70s and 80s, old timer players, into the all 70s and 80s teams. They also were going to rename the field to Featherstone Field, and appropriately so. So the guy is loved in the school. He's loved in the community. He served the school for many, many, many years, and his players just absolutely adore him to this day. And so they renamed the stadium after him. It was pretty cool. So I have a bunch of pictures from that day. Okay, and my friends have taken a bunch, so I got a bunch to deal with. And I love pictures because they get geotagged and it spreads my Google My Business around town because they're geotagged. So on my own Google My Business, I uploaded a few of those pictures, not all of them, I don't think. There's nothing wrong with doing all of them, but I uploaded a bunch, and then I'm like, well, I got a bunch here, and I'm also a Google local guide. So why don't I go and do a search for Murdoch Stadium? Now I knew that it hasn't changed yet. It was that week of the renaming, but I changed the name. You could see here it's still called Murdoch in the description, but in the name I changed it, and it changed within a matter of minutes, maybe at the most less than a half hour. I got notice that it had changed. Why? Well, I changed it. I have street cred with Google because I upload photos and do reviews and do things like that to under my Google local guide designation. I'm a top level uh, Google guide at least once, several times under my own name and as well as pseudonames. And it allows me to make changes rather authoritatively because I've earned the right. How did I do it? I went here, suggested an edit. It asks you if the name's wrong or if it's still in business or whatever. And I said, yeah, the name's wrong. I just put in the right name, Featherstone. They told me to prove it. And so what I did was I took this picture and uploaded it. and I might have given him something else, but this was pretty good proof. And within a short amount of time, I had it had changed. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you look at the picture here, this is actually the. Here, I'll show you here. I'll go straight to. So if you click on their pictures, you can see where they've done almost none. In fact, I don't even know if they've claimed it, but I think this might have been put in by Google. It says Murdock Stadium. It might have been put in by Google, but if you can tell, I mean, all of these are just by other people. So the lesson in this is anybody can put videos, pictures, whatever up there. Here's the ones that are by me under this account. This was, I think this was an all-star game that I took picture. I don't know. I've got a bunch. I've got, they did my, here's Coach Featherstone. This guy on the right coached me, Coach Engel. Great, great coach also. Uh, oh, there's the plaque. You can see yours truly on there. And then a bunch of people as they're inducted. And I threw up all these pictures. These I just put up recently. And you can see here this guy Benjamin Benuelos put this video up, which is probably a high school game. It doesn't look like it's a college game. So there you go. There's a lesson in here in that Google My Business is very much a social business entity site. It's a social entity site. Other people are in other people are putting up content, curating content into Featherstone Field now, Murdock Stadium, Featherstone Field, into their entity. They're not, as I said, here by owner. They've done nothing. They've done next to nothing. If you look at the actual the entity itself, as we call it, in Google, um, there's nothing there. There's a bunch of reviews, again, curated from the public. No questions. Let's see if they've answered any questions. I doubt it. Oops. What per I don't know why it's doing this. I'm trying to get a question here, but which that sometimes they'll do this. They'll ask me because I'm a Google local guide. So I'm going to say this one's more useful, which probably is not, but it's because I'm in it. You can't tell, but I'm going to use that one. Uh, here's what I wanted to look at. The questions. So I can ask a question there, and see there, I'm on my little star for a local guide. And so here's some questions and whatnot. So here's something I say to do all the time on your own Google My Business is like people's questions and their reviews. Okay, if they give you a little squiggly button like that, like it. All right. Um, Even though some of these things are stupid because they're from the public, they're not anything to do with the school itself. So it doesn't make very much sense just reading it real quick. Um, so here's the information, the reviews, and so forth and so on. So that, my friends, is how to rename a stadium. And if you are feeling a little fetchy and a little bit evil and devious, you can name it Tim O'Keefe Field if you can garner up a little bit of proof. But I don't suggest doing that. But I'm saying it is possible. This more than likely was fact checked by an algorithm, not a human being. So that is what we live under, and it also is the power of using Google, and they like that I'm adding photos. Okay, they like that, so I get rewarded, and so and it's social. I added that into their set of photos. That's social. So again, Google My Business is the greatest social network that you never knew was a social network, and probably the greatest there is, because people go on to Google looking to buy stuff. They don't go on Facebook going, I wonder where I can get that jewelry today, right? So just be aware of that. It's a little bit subtle, or it's very subtle, and it's something that's very useful. Oh, here's something that is kind of stupid. Stadium in Alondra Park. Okay, the park right behind the school is Alondra Park, and then there's a golf course. And then the other side of the long, long block is El Camino College. It's actually at El Camino College, not Alondra Park. It's kind of weird. It even says so right here from the Wikipedia. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully, it opens your eyes as to the possibilities. This, I think, is a beautiful picture. I'll end you with end this with excuse me, end this with, not you with. um, yeah, this is the old stadium. There's the old stadium. There's the picture we saw from before. From it was from above that little uh, tunnel right there. So with that, I thank you, and hopefully you got something out of this.